Superintelligence is directed by Ben Falcone and stars Melissa McCarthy, Bobby Carnival, Brian Tyree Henry, and James Corden. And it tells the story of an average woman living her average life until one day a superintelligence decides to reach out to her and chooses her to be his guinea pig in his study of humanity. Based on what he finds, he'll decide if humanity is worth saving, worth enslaving, or worth destroying. Superintelligence. So this is one of those movies that nobody really asked for. You didn't really you think of it, and it just kind of pops up on your radar and you decide to watch it. At least that's how it was for me. It feels like a very 90s, late 90s, early 20s sort of premise here. You have this artificial intelligence that for whatever reason suddenly exists. There's not much of an explanation given here, but they do try to make one up. And he picks Melissa McCarthy's character of all the people in the world and decides he's going to follow her for the next 3 days and study her life and her choices, and based upon that and that alone decide whether humanity is worth saving or not. Guys, this is an average comedy at best. Melissa McCarthy, I quite like her. Let me get that out of the way. I think when she's good, she's very good in films like Bridesmaids and Spies, and not so much, in her more recent stuff, But here, surprisingly, she's quite reserved. It's not what I expected, especially considering this is basically a comedy. She's quite reserved here. She doesn't really get up to her normal shenanigans and her normal antics. And on varying levels it works, but it doesn't. It's kind of middle, and as you know, that's where I get average from. The performances here by everybody is exactly what you would expect in a movie like this, to be quite honest. Bobby Carnival, he's no stranger to comedy, and he's a likable guy. I did buy into their relationship. I thought their chemistry was actually really good, and I buy into the entire premise of them once being a couple and maybe not being a couple again. Their energy, the way they worked off each other, worked quite well. It's actually one of the stronger or more positive aspects of this movie. James Corden, he plays the voice of the AI here, and he's good. James Corden has one of those voices that you recognize off the bat when you hear it. So he was a solid choice. He's not always the voice of the AI here. It changed a couple times. Octavia Spencer at one point in time, but he's the main character here, and he actually did get me to laugh a couple of times. There's some improv here, obviously, with these types of comedians working, again, a couple of laughs here and there. The overall energy of this film is quite middling, that sort of thing. It's just one of those movies that you're gonna watch probably once and then never think about again. That said, it's not a bad film. Yes, the premise is ridiculous, whatever. The premise of most rom-coms are ridiculous. I'm trying to find positives here, guys. It's just one of those movies that, like I said before, it doesn't feel like it belongs in 2020. It feels like something that maybe if it came out in the 90s, it would have done a lot better. So other than that, and underused talents of Brian Tyree Henry, I don't have much to report on this movie. Do I think you should watch it? Why not? Like I said, it's harmless, and honestly, I did chuckle in some places. I did enjoy it in other places, but overall, this is not a movie that I would find myself like keeping in my list of favorites or anything like that. Melissa McCarthy has put out much better work than this. So it's a one and done. It's a watch it on the weekend if you have nothing better to do film. And because of that, it will simply get a score of 5 out of 10. There's not much else to say here, guys, because there's not much to unpack here. It's any artificial intelligence movie you've ever seen where that AI is trying to make this kind of decision and they interact with a human who made them maybe change their mind, you've seen that before. You've seen this premise 1,000 times before. You know, all they did here is throw in a bit of a romantic element in there, and that's about it. The message is always because love saves the day. So, what else is there to say but 5 out of 10? And that's gonna be it for this one, guys. This one was short because, like I said, there wasn't much to unpack here. If you enjoyed this video and if you like this movie, let me know. Maybe you enjoyed it more than I did. Please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. It's always appreciated. If you're new and you'd like to subscribe to my channel, feel free to click on my mug when it pops up right about there. And you can check out past videos if you've got the time. So until the next one, guys. Bye-bye.